Greetings from the Golden Land, Myanmar. We wanted to join you today to give you a little bit of an update of what we've been doing this year, and we've got some exciting news about our ministry for next year. First off, I'd like to introduce ourselves a little bit more. Manasa, Alyssa, Bati, and Levi. Bati is doing very well. She is now 5 years old and in kindergarten. She is currently homeschooling with me. We looked into some school options, but they were well beyond our budget, because she is not allowed to attend a local school and needs to be either homeschooled or a private school. Another factor was transportation. She would be spending about 40 minutes to 1 hour each way to commute to school and back, and we felt this was a bit much for a 5-year-old, as well as also our scheduling. So homeschooling it is. She really loves it. It's going very well. And recently we found a co-op of other homeschooling students, primarily missionaries. She gets to go and attend 2 classes on Friday, as well as participate in a Christmas program this year. It helps her to feel not so alone as she interacts with other kids socially that are also in the same boat that she is. She really enjoys music. She enjoys playing outdoors, as Daddy has built her a swing outdoors, and she's a good example to her younger brother, Levi. Kalevi, otherwise known as Levi, is now 16 months old. He's very busy and active, as you can imagine, as he's now walking and climbing and talking. He enjoys playing with the ball, playing with Bati, and he also enjoys music very much. He's a very good sleeper, and we really are appreciative of him. Some other highlights for us as a family is Manasa continues to be able to participate in the rugby group here in Yangon, and Alyssa enjoys going out and experiencing new things, especially bringing Bati along to experience new musical things, art things, and museums. First off, we want to remind you who we are working with and what we're doing here in Myanmar. For those of you who don't know us, my husband and I have been with YWAM, called Youth with a Mission, for many years, the last 5 years here in Myanmar. One of our main ministries that we participate in is we created a ministry called Strong Hands Ministry. We've seen a great need for the deaf community here in Myanmar, and that is why we created this ministry, so that we can help with education and also the spiritual aspect. In all of Myanmar, there are only 3 churches, and in terms of schooling, there's only 4 or 5 schools to choose from, which are only good until grade 4. So there are many needs for the deaf, and that is why we created this ministry with YWAM. We're going to talk a little bit more about that at the end of this video, and how you can be involved in what we're going to be doing in 2020. A few highlights from this year, though, include other ministries that we've been able to join with here with YWAM. One of them is we were both excited to be more involved with the Discipleship Training Group. This is a group, this year, 16 students, who get together for 3 months of lecture, learning about God and discipleship, followed by 2 months of outreach, so that they can practice what they learn and get better discernment into what God is calling them to do. As for myself, I was able to do some staff training, not only with DTS, but also alongside our English Center. Manasa was able to do some Bible teaching and also help on the worship team, and we are excited that we are now sending them out on outreach, and we will see them again in a few months. A couple other highlights is Manasa's involvement in the worship team and taking over to better facilitate new people coming up and leading worship. We also were excited to all meet as a group for our YWAM conference in May, and we were also honored as Manasa was asked to be one of the team leaders here in Yangon, and so he is now on the leadership team. One of the other highlights that we got to involve Bati in is that one of our friends donated some material to us. It was supposed to be used for a playground for their sons, and since it was not in use, they donated to us, and since it was rainy season, we set it aside for a while. Within a few weeks, we found out that one of our coworkers was pioneering a church in a slum area and had just bought property, but didn't have the resources to actually build their room. So Manasa and Bati were able to help them carry the materials that were donated to us, and they are now being used for this new church plant in the slum area. It was exciting for Bati to be able to see how God works, using us not only directly, but also indirectly. So I want to dive right in and talk more about our Strong Hands ministry for the deaf. This is what we are most passionate about, and we really feel that God is working. A couple months ago, we felt that God was leading us to a time of fasting and prayer, specifically for what is next for our Strong Hands ministry. We currently are running a cross home for deaf students. We have 3 full-time students from the village that are staying with our partner Boinu in an apartment so that they can attend the deaf school. The deaf school here in Yangon is able to accept new students into their classroom, but they are not able to house them. And so that is the need that we are fulfilling, is providing them housing and parenting while they attend school. This is something that we want to grow, and one of the concerns for us is as we're paying rent, we would like to have something more permanent. During this time of prayer and fasting, God put on our hearts the story of Nehemiah. Through this and through prayer and fasting, we were able to create something called Project 52. Our goal for 2020 is to start fundraising so that we can buy a building or build a building that would not only house our cross-home students, but would also have a space so that we can run seminars, trainings, tutoring, perhaps have a library or an office, specifically only for the deaf. We see more and more need for this, not only in the education field, but also within our church for more Bible study and Bible trainings so that they can go out and do some church planting. We also see a need for this because there is a large gap of students who are left out. If you are 13 or 14 years old and you want to learn to sign or you want to learn to read and write, you cannot attend Mary Chapman School because you are too old. So where do they go? Where do they learn these skills? We want to be able to provide them with that. Not only that, but we have volunteers who really want to help us reach the deaf by teaching them computer skills, art skills, work-life skills. So there are many opportunities, and there are even many volunteers, but there is no resource for them. And that is what we are feeling that God is calling to us in this next season. Is it a little bit scary? Yes. Is it very exciting? Absolutely. We are depending on sponsors and donors like you, and also those within Myanmar to be able to make this successful. Our ultimate goal in creating Strong Hands was to empower deaf people to have confidence and be able to thrive in society. Not only spiritually within the church, which is the most important, but also emotionally, knowing who their identity is, also within the education realm, mentally, and those work-life skills so that they can be able to take care of themselves and be independent. So these are some of the things we're very excited about. As we've been praying and fasting, and now that we have confirmation, there are some things that God is putting on our path that we're excited about. In fact, there is a sponsor here in Myanmar who is committed to give some money towards our cross home every month. And this money is helping for tuition and for electricity, for some of the rent, and also for food. We need more sponsors like this who are committed to monthly giving to our cross home and to our Strong Hands ministry. Next year, we will begin fundraising for this building project. Because it is such a big project, we've looked into a resource that we haven't looked into before, which is becoming a non-profit organization, or otherwise known as a non-government NGO group. This is a lot of legal work, a lot of meetings, a lot of networking, and through counsel from our elders and also from the Christian community, we have decided that through YWAM's help, we are going to become a non-profit organization under the umbrella of YWAM. And so we will still have the same accountability and the same setup, but we will be recognized by the government to be able to do what we're doing. If you remember, right now we are on a business visa. So this means, technically speaking, we are English speakers only. We are not allowed to preach, we are not allowed to be connected with the church in any way, and we are not allowed to be doing anything other than teaching. With this new program, being a nonprofit organization, we will be able to get a visa that will release us to speak freely about what we want to do. We will be able to work with the deaf not only on the educational center, but also to be legally able to do religious work. Please pray for us as we look into how to process this in the next 2 months. We are hoping that by February, we will have all the paperwork lined up and we will be ready to receive donations and start looking for a location for our new building. We want you to be involved as well. One of the things that you can do is monthly support. We are going to be leaving some information out at the counter for you to take with you and to read and look through, and also including our email address and our Facebook page. Another thing I want to challenge you with is this. I want you to consider doing a fundraiser on our behalf. Oftentimes, we ask you as the donor to give simply from your checkbook. This time, we want you to look ahead to next year and consider doing a fundraiser for us. It doesn't have to be something big. Sometimes we think of a gala or something like that. It can just be simply setting aside the money that you would use to go to the movies. Perhaps you can collect cans, do a car wash, but not in the wintertime. You could do something like hosting a get-together at your home where you share about our ministry. If someone is interested in selling things, you can also host a party like that. You can do a community dinner, whatever it is that you are interested in that would be able to help us fundraise. We are going to be setting up a little bit more next year and giving you more information about how you can be involved in that way. But we want you to be excited about what we're doing and how you can be involved in what we're doing. We want to thank you for being a partner with us this year. Your prayer support is what keeps us healthy, and your financial support is what keeps food on our table, gives us enough money to have transportation where we need to go, and also allows us to give generously to the people surrounding us that have immediate needs. We want you to know that we think of you often and we pray for you. We would love to hear your prayer requests as well and include them on our prayer team. So please be in contact with us. We are also working on getting a new prayer card with updated information that you can pick up in the lobby, hopefully by Christmas time. And again, we thank you for all your support.